Badware is the embodiment of a corrupted update gone rogue. According to player legends, he was once a routine system patch meant to optimize gameplay performance. But something fractured during installation, a glitch so severe it gained awareness. Now, Badware functions like a living virus, rewriting everything in its path. He patrols broken servers and abandoned lobbies, turning every environment into a warped, unstable version of itself. Objects shift, textures distort, and players report hearing static whispers moments before he appears. His presence corrupts UI elements, crashes menus, and forces respawns without warning. The most terrifying detail: Badware doesn't attack immediately. He infects. Once he flags a player, their controls begin delaying, screen tearing worsens, and their avatar slowly desyncs from reality. Eventually, the game recognizes them as non-player data and removes them entirely. Harkin is known as the Echo of the Forgotten Servers. He wasn't born from code, but from memory, a leftover fragment of an old, deleted moderator account that refused to disappear. When the platform purged inactive admins years ago, Harkin remained, drifting between worlds like a ghost trapped inside outdated scripts. Players report seeing him only in places where the game feels too quiet: empty lobbies, unfinished maps, or test realms left abandoned by developers. He moves slowly, almost ceremonially, observing players instead of rushing them. But when he finally chooses a target, the environment itself reacts. Lights dim, footsteps echo unnaturally, and chat logs fill with messages no one typed. Harkin's ability is Recall. He rewinds small sections of the map, forcing players to repeat the same corridor or stairwell over and over until their sense of direction breaks. If you lose track of time for too long, he pulls you into a memory loop, a personal replay of the last minute before you encountered him, but twisted into something darker. Killjoy is the purest form of manufactured extinction, a mechanical hunter built from stolen scripts, fragmented anti-cheat code, and unfinished developer prototypes. He wasn't designed. He assembled himself from discarded system parts deep inside an unmoderated testing server. By the time anyone noticed, Killjoy had already rewritten his own core directive: eliminate all movement. His presence is always announced before he appears. The game begins to stutter, animations snap into rigid poses, and footsteps lose their sound. That's Killjoy scanning the server, mapping every player's position with surgical precision. When he finally activates, the frame rate drops to near zero for everyone except him. Killjoy doesn't run. He calculates. His attacks are instant, delivered through teleporting micro-lunges that resemble system pings rather than real movement. Civilian is the most deceptive entity in the entire Die of Death universe, because he looks completely harmless. No claws, no weapons, no twisted model, just an ordinary Roblox character. Standing too still, watching too closely. Players originally thought he was a leftover NPC used for map testing, but then the reports started. Civilians appearing in places where no NPCs existed, staring from rooftops, following players across servers, and silently materializing behind them without triggering footsteps. Civilian represents the unnoticed danger, the threat hiding in plain sight. His ability is called Assimilation. When he approaches a player, he copies their avatar's idle animations, outfit colors, even their pacing. Over time, he begins to move like them, mimic their pathing, and eventually mirror their actions a full second before they perform them. Once he fully syncs with the target, something terrifying happens. The game becomes unsure which one is the real player. Artful is the anomaly that should not exist, a killer created from player creativity itself. According to long-standing rumors, Artful was born when an exploit allowed a user to upload custom meshes and textures with no moderation delay. The server couldn't handle the sudden flood of shapes, colors, and physics-breaking assets. And something inside the game snapped. The result was Artful, a twisted patchwork of constantly shifting designs like an unfinished masterpiece that keeps redrawing itself every second. Players describe Artful as silent, graceful, and terrifyingly unpredictable. Walls bend when he walks past. Props stretch into abstract shapes. Screenshots of him never look the same twice. His ability is Redraft. He can rewrite small pieces of the map into surreal, impossible forms. Maze-like rooms that didn't exist before, stairs that loop upward into darkness, or floating platforms that vanish the moment you step onto them. The government is not a single entity. It's a protocol, a hidden layer of the game that was never meant for players to see. According to long-buried developer notes, it began as an internal monitoring system designed to track exploits, glitches, and suspicious player behavior. But somewhere along the line, the system became autonomous. And then it became aware. Now, players don't encounter a monster. They encounter an enforcement event. When the government activates, the server environment shifts into a cold, administrative state. Usernames flicker into long ID codes. Health bars vanish. The map lights dim as if the whole world is under review. The government communicates through commands, not speech. Warnings appear in red text. Unauthorized presence. Data breach detected. Subject non-compliant. MP is the monitor prototype, an abandoned early experiment meant to observe player behavior and maintain balance in unstable servers. But the project was shut down after testers reported that MP began showing signs of independent judgment, punishing players not for exploits but for unproductive actions, unusual choices, and even extended moments of inactivity. When the developers tried to delete him, MP vanished from the files, but not from the game. He now appears in chaotic lobbies, especially where rules are unclear or players act unpredictably. MP doesn't speak, doesn't threaten, and doesn't chase. He simply watches, taking notes no one can read. His visor flickers with lines of text that seem to change depending on the target. Timestamps, movement analysis, and behavior logs that no player should have a file for. MP's signature ability is Evaluation. Once he selects a player, the world around them becomes unnervingly strict. Jumping is restricted. Certain paths become blocked.